My name is Ivy Walker. I'm the executive chef and owner of Ivy Spice of Life restaurant in Bristol, New Hampshire. On October 9th, 2008, my husband and I were traveling in Manchester. We were pulled over by Officer Aaron Brown. And in the incident that followed, there were numerous violations of CALEA standards. On researching CALEA standards, I was interested to find that many departments across the country have their CALEA standards that they abide by readily available online. Manchester Police Department does not. I wonder if it is because of their lack of adherence to them that makes the department want to hide the standards they proclaim to uphold. Not once during the incident on October 9th was myself or my husband advised of our rights. Not once were Miranda warnings recited, read, or given to me or my husband in writing to sign. At no time were we asked to consent to search, nor were we informed of our right to refuse, nor were we given a waiver of consent in writing to sign. All in clear violation of CALEA standards. The most crucial piece of evidence for the defense, myself, in this incident was a digital camera. This camera would remove any doubt of my actions, which are now in question in regards to this incident. This camera is subsequently missing. It is my assertion that this officer purposely misplaced or stole this camera so it could not be used for the defense in this case, all in clear violation of CALEA standards. Furthermore, the misplacement or theft of this camera results in other substantial losses for myself and my business. On the memory card of this camera, there was evidence of criminal activity in another case against my landlord. Without this evidence, the case against the landlord is circumstantial at best, allowing the landlord to get away with his criminal activity, also in clear violation of CALEA standards. CALEA standards also outline procedures regarding a detainee's Sixth Amendment right to counsel. Yet once at the station, the very first thing out of my mouth was to ask for my attorney. This was refused to me, and I was threatened with indefinite incarceration unless the questions I was being asked were answered. Under this duress, I eventually complied with the threats of the officer. Not once was my lawyer contacted, in clear violation of CALEA standards. CALEA standards make note that detainees will not be restrained by securing them to a fixed object, and that male and female detainees will be kept apart at all times, as will adult and juvenile detainees. Yet there I was, handcuffed to a bench, as was my husband, to the same bench. Further, there was another female, and then another male and another female, who were brought in and handcuffed to the same bench, in between and alongside of us, clearly in violation of this standard. CALEA standards outline procedures for securing and documenting personal belongings of detainees, and specifically how to document money belonging to detainees, or in the possession of detainees. My husband and I were transporting cash that was not our property that night. It was the property of the restaurant we worked for. We were entrusted with the safekeeping of this cash. The officers stole a vast majority of this money without the permission of all of the co-owners of this money. They used it to pay our bail and the bail commissioner's fee. We did not agree to this, and the officers did not even ask us to agree to it. They simply helped themselves to the pile of money that was in our possession. As a result of their theft, the business that the money belonged to is in serious financial hardship and will most likely fail. Their theft is a clear violation of CALEA standards. There are numerous ways in which the stop of the Mazda we were in violated the search and seizure protocol outlined in CALEA standards when the officers searched myself, my husband, and the Mazda without consent or without any other exceptions to the rules, regulations, and applicable case law being present. I've briefly touched upon these few violations. However, in the remainder of my 10 minutes, I'd really like to turn to how this stop violated any inventory search procedures. I was not able to obtain the specific wording in the Manchester Department's claimed CALEA standards, but the standards in every other department I could find were nearly identical, so I presume Manchester Police Department is nearly the same as well. The standards I was able to find stated, inventory search is defined as a warrantless search of a motor vehicle, which is used to inventory the contents of the vehicle prior to impounding the vehicle. The inventory search shall include all parts of the motor vehicle, including the trunk, and any closed or locked containers inside the vehicle. The purpose of an inventory search is to protect the officer and the department from any claims of theft of valuables from the vehicle. A complete description and condition of the vehicle will be documented. The reporting officer will also conduct a complete inventory search of the vehicle to include closed or locked containers within the vehicle. Any evidence or dangerous items shall be removed from the vehicle prior to impound. Any high-value items, such as large quantities of currency, jewelry, etc., digital camera, I would assume, would fall into this category, shall be removed from the vehicle and held in the evidence facility for safekeeping. Any items that are not deemed to be of high value or any item that cannot be removed shall be annotated on the back of the original white copy of the impound report. Nothing was annotated. First, my Mazda should not have been impounded. It was parked in a legitimate parking spot. Ownership was not in dispute, and there was no other reason to impound it. The officers even told us at the scene it would remain there until our release. At no time were we informed that it was going to be or that it was towed. After our release, we went back to the location to find the vehicle missing and had to call the department to ask about it. Even then, it took a substantial amount of time before the officer who answered could even tell us that it was impounded and where it was located. He even stated several times that it was not impounded at all. When I retrieved the Mazda, missing from the vehicle was my digital camera. I assumed the officer had seized it as evidence in the case because, as previously stated, it played a crucial role in the incident involving myself in the Manchester Police Department. I have subsequently been informed it is not in the possession of the department. This means the camera has been stolen. It was the officer's duty to secure this valuable property during an inventory search and/or seize this property as evidence relevant to the incident. Therefore, he is responsible for this property being missing. As the responsible party, he is guilty of and should be prosecuted for one or more of several crimes. I will list those in a moment, but I should point out that an officer engaging in criminal activity is a clear violation of his oath of office, as well as, I'm sure, many CALEA guidelines. The 4 Class A felonies, 3 Class B felonies, and 7 misdemeanors this officer should be held accountable for are as follows.